Just me, a place to be me, where you get to experience life. 'Cause life is a journey, not a guided tour. If you want the rainbow, you have to go through the rain. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we have two special guests for our Back to School series conversation. We're going to continue on. We have representatives from Forsyth County School District. We have Miss Felicia Tubbs. She is a lead middle school counselor. And we also have Miss Patricia Durham, who is the lead elementary school counselor. And sometimes as we go and transition to this season of back to school, we have a lot of questions, but we may not know who to ask. And so as far as getting our kids prepared for that back to school season, whether it's elementary, middle school, high school, and even our college students, here are some questions that we're going to ask. So parents listen in, caregivers listen in, aunties, uncles, all of y'all listen in. We got some good information coming y'all's way. All right. So the first question that we have for these lovely, lovely school counselors, with absenteeism at around 30% in North America, what are some of the things that you can help parents to support their children around as they return back to school?
So with absenteeism, we definitely encourage parents to, our school social workers, as well as counselors, everyone in the schools pretty much help with encouraging parents to send their children to school, because if they're not in school, then they won't be able to get the academic assistance that they need. We try to figure out the source of the absences. Is it a lack of transportation? Is it lack of basic needs that you have going on, to try to figure out what is the reason they are missing school, and try to assist them with that, and encourage the need to attend school on a daily basis.
And most schools use a team approach when they're assisting parents and family members to help their student attend school. And so, just like Ms. Tubbs said, addressing any obstacles to school attendance, and then working with the students as they get older on engaging in school by, offering other activities to help students want to come to school and help students to connect with staff members at school so they have that sense of belonging at their school.
You made a good point, Ms. Durham. What are some of the things that you guys have witnessed last year with kids maybe just not wanting to come to school at either the elementary school or the middle school level? What are some things that, outside of what the parents can control, like the transportation, different things like that, what are some of the reasons why our children are motivated to come to school?
I would say some of the reasons why would possibly be if they're tired. If it's a long school day and there's a lot of content, and sometimes our students will become tired or lack the energy. Sometimes it is the social connections with their peers that is an obstacle for students coming to school. And so the importance of building that sense of belonging and the connections with the school are very important. Another reason may be the content. The content is very rigorous, and we are, helping our students become ready for post-secondary employment, college opportunities, trainings. And so I know that in our county, as students grow in their grades, we're offering more variety in courses and opportunities for students to engage them in activities and certificates and things that will help them to want to come to school so that they can be eligible for post-secondary education or employment or training.
Yeah. We also, on the high school level, we want to definitely make sure that is it because you feel as though you are capable of doing the work in the class? And all of our students are capable of doing the work in class, and they need to feel that way. So do you have like, someone that you can go to in class? Can you talk to your teacher if you're struggling in class academically? Can you go to tutoring? Can you get some additional help? So you feel as though, okay, I am able to do this. And teachers, administrators, counselors, social workers, all of them are encouraged to push kids to take rigorous courses, to take to take rigorous courses and take classes so they can continue to grow and graduate from high school and become that, whatever they choose to be. So we definitely encourage them that. And that's on the middle school level as well, because kids, they tend to it starts before they even get attendance issues start before they get into high school.
Yeah.
They start, a lot of times they start in elementary school. So they need to feel as though they belong. They need to feel as though they should be in this class and everything. We encourage them to take honors level courses. So they should not be limited to not do that. Equity access is very important, and they need to feel as though they should be at the school. Environment at the school, the culture of the school, the climate is very important. So those things are encouraged. So
Awesome. And I hear you guys as far as it sounds like the culture of the school, creating those safe environments and those comfortable environments by looking to locate a specific adult for a student to gravitate towards if they aren't feeling interested or motivated, or they are lacking the energy. And so I want to kind of ask, on the flip side of things, what can be done in the home? Because a lot of times it starts in the home. What can parents do to support their kids with some of these, maybe that social disconnection, lack of belonging feeling? How do we even start that conversation at home? Because while we have the eyes for it to kind of point it out and spot it out as the school counselors and the professionals, different things like that, sometimes the parents, what are some signs that they should look for, and how can they have that conversation with their children?
one thing, as far as we tell them, they need to communicate with their kids.
Hello.
regardless of what level, elementary, middle, and high school. You need to see, how was your kid's day? What concerns do you have? Communicate with the teachers, communicate with the administrators, communicate with the counselors, social workers, all of them, everyone on campus to help your child, so they know that, okay, they can come to you and talk to you if they're having difficulty. That's one thing. And I also want to piggyback on with the attendance. Sometimes on the high school level, sometimes kids are working. Sometimes they have to provide food. They have to provide income at home. So sometimes and they're not going to sleep at an adequate time. So that affects their attendance in school. So that's another part of figuring out the source of the issue and concern as well.
And then to piggyback on the team approach that Ms. Tubbs was stating, it's important to have a team approach. That way, if there is an obstacle with food or financial resources, as a team, the school student services team can work together to support the families with community resources that are provided.
We have a new team. A department is family engagement. So we're trying to make sure we engage families a lot more and get them involved in school as well. So that's another thing that our district is doing to try to help.
And then to go back to your question, what else can parents do? Provide structure at home. The structure at home is going to be very important, especially in the younger years. If they have that structure kind of training in the young years, then by the time they get to middle and high school, they have that ingrained and ingrained kind of training for their day. And so if they provide the structure for a morning routine and then a nighttime routine, along with like Ms. Tubbs said, some family time where they're spending time together and communicating about their day, is also really important. The other thing that we were thinking about was monitoring social media.
Talk about it.
Access as well, because if your student is on social media in the evening, that can also raise their anxiety about school and cause cause some issues. And then the positive.
Yes. Just promote positive school importance. Parents to do that. If parents, if the parents say they don't like school, they don't like a teacher, they don't like this district, then of course that affects how the child feels about the school
Yes.
or about just learning in general. So
Our words have
power.
meaning and power. Yes, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I remember saying that as a kid. I remember being told, but as an adult, as I get older, I'm like, wow, some of these words that were said to me have definitely impacted me in the long run. And I, go
Words
ahead.
do hurt. Words
Yeah.
do impact our students and our families. And I encourage, if parents are upset or are feeling like their child is being mistreated,
Yes.
I always encourage them to go back to the school and have their voices heard. Don't sit at home and feel like they cannot voice their concerns or issues at the school level. And if they're not heard at the school level, I know myself and Ms. Tubbs and Ms. Rocker, our high school lead, have talked to parents and helped them navigate the system so that way they can feel like their child is being, their voice is being heard, and their child can advocate for themselves and get what they need.
That's right. Because sometimes some parents have had bad experiences themselves. So we don't want their children to have bad experiences. So if they have concerns or issues, then they have to advocate for their child. That means speaking to that principal, speaking to that AP, speaking to that counselor, teacher, whomever, so we can try to resolve the issue.
And I would say, to add to that, you guys make a very good point. To add to that, how you show up as adults, how we show up and communicate with the teachers, models how we want our kids to begin to communicate as well.
Yes.
So if our child or our student comes home and says, I can't stand Miss So-and-so, and she's always mean to me, or he's always mean to me, and the parent then says, I can't stand them either, they always picking on you, then we're not creating that positive promotion of school. And on top of that, we're not teaching our kid how to resolve conflict or how to resolve and communicate in the future. So it's a vicious cycle. And so then we have adults who grow up and also don't know how to communicate. And so we're just passing it down and passing it down. So absolutely, there are times when I've had to, as an adult myself, pull myself back and say, all right, you know what? Let me breathe and let me not react to the situation, but let's think about it, because you have little eyes watching you and adult eyes watching you all the time.
Yes, and I like that you said that sometimes even adults don't know how to conflict resolve. And so this year, well, in the past couple of years, middle school students were exposed to how to resolve conflict. And this year, elementary and high school students are going to be taught specific skills on conflict resolution.
Exactly. And we have a restorative peer mediation program that we're doing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay. I have another question. I know that a lot of our families are raising children in a two-person or household, or a one-person household, or divided households, and there's some co-parenting going on, or there's grandparents raising grandchildren. And I want to ask you guys, as far as what types of tips would you give to maybe a household where one guardian is in one household, another guardian is in another household? How would you encourage that communication in order to support school performance for the kids?
Yes, it's a very good question. We don't get involved in any type of custody issues or anything like that. That definitely has to stay outside of the school. But once we know who has custody and everything, and there is, say grandma or auntie, or, uncle, or it's just mom, or just dad at home with the child. We want to make sure that they're in constant communication with the school. Think about what is best for the child, because you have some families who may, well, I want this to happen at school for this child, and the dad may feel one way and the mom may feel the other way. And they both have the right to their opinions, but what is best for the child? What is best for the child is what we need to focus on. And
Yeah.
sometimes there are cases where we've had meetings and we've had, maybe a dad wants it on this time at this place and mom wants it at another time, and we have to work with them and communicate with them to like, okay, well, let's come to an agreement of what time and date that we can have this. Both parties can be there. If one cannot, then we can conference the other one in. We can do a conference call with Zoom call so everyone is involved, so we can try to think about what is best for your child. So everyone is involved and we can all communicate, but we have to focus on what is best for the child.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think some of the best co-parenting is when both parents are engaging with the school.
Mhm.
They both sign up for Remind or Class Dojo or the school's newsletter or information. They both go to open house. They both have parent-teacher conferences. For both parents to stay engaged with the school and with their student too, asking those positive, reflective questions with the student to help both parents understand what's happening at school,
Mhm.
and then communicating with each other as
Yeah.
well.
And leave your personal issues and concerns
Mhm.
out of it and think
Yeah.
about what's best for your child. That's right.
Well, I love those insights, those nuggets. And yes, go ahead, Ms. Tracy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just sitting just writing notes as y'all talking. I wanted to jump in a couple of times, but y'all kept moving on to the next question. But the most thing that team approach. I keep hearing team approach. And the fact that y'all are asking parents, y'all opening the doors for parents to be part of that team. Because y'all said y'all have a new thing called parent engagement. And this is very good so that the parents can really get a better understanding. Y'all gave a great example for even co-parents, grandparents, Lottie Dottie, and everybody that wanted to be involved in the child will have an opportunity now with this parent engagement, and you're asking for the help, for the parents to help. The teachers are going to help because the students spend more time in school than they spend with the parents. So now the teachers become the new parents. And you want to know why your child listen and respect your teachers more than they do whoever's raising me, because I spend more time with them. And now that we get everybody involved, we can, like, it takes a village, really takes a village. And to hear that y'all start from elementary school and y'all try to take those basic foundational things, and then you move it to middle school to get a little bit higher level. Then you step it up a notch and take it, and then you take it over to high school, and you have this path, and you're asking the parents to get involved in it at day one. They don't have to wait, even at open house, you get to introduce and get them engaged. And it's so important. And I know it's a little different. I went to school back in, I think, let me see, 60s or 70s, when I'm in middle school, elementary school and middle school, and only thing you remember is PTA, and that's it. But it's more to it than just the PTA. Now, especially, after COVID, and there's a lot of things done virtual and stuff like that. One of the things that y'all had mentioned was that social media and the impact of social media. And I just wanted to go back. How difficult is it as a elementary and middle school, because they start young with that electronic device in their hand, to separate that so they can switch it off. So now it's time to really get the brain stimulated with things that are good. How much of a challenge has that been, or do y'all see it more and the lower grades than the higher grades, especially now with, again, I see 4-year-olds with iPhones that cost more than
Yes. So this year we actually implemented a new cell phone policy. So in the middle school and the high school, that actually in elementary also, excuse me. So it's elementary, middle, and high school. So during the school day, they can't have their phones out or use them at all. There are different differences with middle school is before and after school. Same thing for elementary. For high school, they can only have it during lunch and before school and after school. Other than that, they're not supposed to have their phone out, or there may be consequences to face if they do. And the point of doing that is because of social media. There are so many things that go on that, I mean, technology and social media, there are positive things, but there are a lot of negative things as well. Kids spending so much time on their phones, they're involved on various different apps and things of that nature. But we want them to focus. We want them to realize the purpose of coming to school is to try to learn, and also to reduce the amount of like cyberbullying and all of that that's going on during the school day as well. We know it happens after school, but at least if we can try to control a little bit about what goes on at school, then we can. So all of that is a new initiative that we have this year. And right now it's starting off good. So hopefully it'll continue to go well.
And then to add to that, our schools are also teaching students about social media and technology use, and some things
Appropriate technology use.
and appropriate uses, and then some issues that may occur if they use technology inappropriately as well.
Exactly. I know in high school we would always say to kids, just because you deleted that post or you deleted that picture or something, that doesn't mean it's gone. So please be very careful what you do, what you say, and what you do on social media.
And I, right before we wrap up, I want to make a note about why it's so important that parents also support this initiative, because yes, if a teacher administration says, hey, such and such, you can't have your phone in school, and then the kid shoots back with, well, my parent paid for this phone and you can't take my phone because you didn't pay for it. I work with kids. This is what they tell me all the time. Okay. So it's going to be important for parents to support this, because not only are we doing it, are you guys doing it for the safety of their child, doing it for the safety of other people's children, and also how to be safe. And a lot of times our kids don't know how to be safe with this new technology, as adults still try to figure it out too. So a thing that parents can do is support that conversation about why the school is actually doing that. Not instead of saying, well, I don't know why, because they didn't pay for the cell phone. No one did pay for the cell phone but you. But at the same time, it is a device that has to be used in a healthy way.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for checking in with us and joining us. We definitely want to have you back next episode to kind of finish off this conversation. So until next time, take care of yourself so that we can all take care of each other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Just Me Therapy podcast. If you are seeking further one-on-one diagnoses, interventions, and treatment plans, please consider scheduling an appointment with an individual counselor at Journeys Counseling Center, located in Greensboro, North Carolina. Journeys can be reached at 336-294-1349. The mission of Just Me Therapy podcast is to use authentic conversations to uplift one's mind, body, and soul. The goal of Just Me Therapy is to offer affordable education and insight to individuals who experience financial barriers to accessing individualized behavioral health care services. With that being said, the information, including opinions, advice, and recommendations discussed in this podcast, are intended for individual, informational, and educational purposes only. Such information is not intended to substitute the recommendations of your own licensed therapist or healthcare professional. Although we are licensed behavioral health professionals, we are not your licensed behavioral health professional. As a result, the advice mentioned on this podcast should not replace the recommendations offered by your own qualified health professional.